Hi everyone, my name is James Razile. This is Digital Charcuterie, and if you are looking forward to the new Indiana Jones installment, please give us a subscribe, as we will be covering this as much as we can until the release of this film in July 2020. So let's move on. Steven Spielberg at the TV Empire Awards had a little something to say about it, so we got some new news. Which was reported yesterday. Here it is. It's always worth the trip when I get to work with this deep bench of talent coming out of the UK. The actors and the crew and the chippies, the sparks, the drivers, everybody who has helped me make my movies here and will continue helping me make my movies here when I come back in April 2019 to make the 5th Indiana Jones movie right here. It, of course, is scheduled to be released on July 10th, 2020. I believe the initial release date was actually July 2019, but that's been moved up to July 2020 now, which is very, very exciting. Indiana Jones 5 is moving quickly, which is good because Harrison Ford is not getting any younger. Spielberg has said he will not make an Indiana Jones movie without Harrison Ford. I'm of a couple of minds on this, but first, I want to go into a few things here. I want to talk about what we know so far, and we know a couple of things. I'll go into of my two minds on what I was just discussing there. So what we know at this moment is that David Koepp is writing this screenplay. Spielberg has worked with him in the past on Jurassic Park, on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now that might, send nerves down your spine if you hear the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I know a lot of people were not thrilled with that film. I know I was somewhat disappointed by it. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, but that one kind of dropped the ball. And I'm a big George Lucas fan, but I really feel like he was pushing the it's not alien, it's another dimension element to it. But at the same time, maybe that was also Spielberg. Spielberg loves aliens. If you've watched, E.T., Close Encounters, he does love the extraterrestrial element of films, but you kind of feel like George Lucas really wanted to go down that path, and I think Steven Spielberg wants to keep it more grounded in a reality of sorts. The religious elements were always there for Indiana Jones. I think that's kind of a cool vibe to set if you're going into the next one. I have no idea what the plot is. David Koepp, like I just said, is writing this one, so it is. It is exciting. He did Jurassic Park with them, and he did The Last Indiana Jones. And even with The Last Indiana Jones, for all of its faults, Indy's voice, it is Harrison Ford, but his lines of dialogue still felt very, very much like Indiana Jones to me. The other good news is David Koepp said this himself, and it goes along with what the actor has said in statements, is that Mutt will be making no appearances whatsoever in this film. Indiana Jones, and we forgot that we have a son named Mutt. So who knows if Karen Allen will be coming back in this? I would say no. If Mutt's not in it, I don't see why you would bring her in it. Of course, Shia LaBeouf famously said in that LA Times interview in 2010 that he felt like I dropped the ball on the legacy that people loved and cherished. Everybody was expecting Shia LaBeouf to carry the torch forward and be the next Indiana Jones. I think naming him Mutt, I know Indiana was named after the dog, both in real life and in the films, but I think Mutt was a little too on the nose on that one, and it turned a lot of people off. And also the character swinging like a monkey through the vines it just wasn't fun. It was trying too hard to be fun, whereas Indiana Jones usually is fun. And people can argue Temple of Doom, but I really enjoy Temple of Doom. So 3 out of 4 ain't bad as far as I'm concerned. Now, I just want to go into a few things that I really, really want. I want Sallah back. Please, Sallah, come back. And now, he turned down returning. John Rhys Davies turned down appearing in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They wanted him at the wedding at the end, and he said, "Why bother?" And it seemed like maybe a little bit of a paycheck thing. But I think he wanted more screen time, and Sallah should have more screen time. He's the heart and soul of Indiana Jones. He really is a big part of Raiders, and he is a big part of The Last Crusade. And he, of course, is not present for Temple of Doom. He is not present for for the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, arguably the 2 worst in the saga. So put the pieces together. What are you missing out of those? You're missing Sallah. Bring Sallah in. Give him bad dates, and you got to have camels. I love Sallah, man. You got to bring him in. More Sallah all the all the time. The other thing that I really think they should focus on is Spielberg said he will never make an Indiana Jones film without Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is not getting any younger, neither is Steven Spielberg. Spielberg really seems to want to make more of like his emotional drama films, which is totally fine. That's his prerogative. That's what he wants to do. He has earned that in his career, but obviously he has an attachment to Indiana Jones. He wants to go back and tell Indiana Jones stories, which is great. But at some point, Harrison Ford is going to say, I can't do this anymore. And Spielberg is going to say, I don't want to do this anymore. We have plateaued on what we need to do for Indiana Jones. But the franchise itself is going to live on. Paramount is going to say, we really need Indiana Jones movies to come out because they make money. Maybe they won't, but right now they're going to want them. I think it would be cool. Raiders of the Lost Ark is not called Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is now in the same way that Rambo was not called Rambo. It was First Blood, and now it's Rambo First Blood. Go back to the Raiders idea. Bring in the Raiders. Give me a team of Raiders, individual characters, and let's find out who people love the most out of those characters. You individually, who is the most fascinating of these Raiders, and then there you can start spinning off, and your next one could be Raiders, and we can follow them. And then if one of them starts to really gain momentum and audience attention, then that could be your new Indiana Jones character, and you can go, because really it's the adventure. As Indiana Jones as a character is one of my favorite film characters of all time. I absolutely love Indiana Jones. He's afraid of snakes and all that. Love Indiana Jones. But if you're going to never give me another Indiana Jones or recast Indiana Jones, by the way, my recast for Indiana Jones, love me or hate me, is Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine could do an absolutely phenomenal job of Indiana Jones. Unfortunately, he's not getting any younger either. So at some point, although he's still probably younger than or around the same age Harrison Ford was when he started it. So either way, that if I was recasting, that's what I would do. Maybe he could be one of these Raiders. Either way, you have these Raiders characters and start establishing them individually. They could be teams. They could split off, do their own thing, and focus on the adventure and the fun and make the characters their own individual characters. And I think that would be a fascinating way to grow the franchise, expand the franchise, especially for new audiences. I mean, Indiana Jones is what, 1980, 1981, 84 and 88 and then 2000 whatever. So look, it's not like people in the 90s grew up with Indiana Jones so much. I mean, I'm sure some of you did, but not everybody in the 90s really cared about Indiana Jones because he was absent for years in between there. So that's how I feel in Indiana Jones. Let me know what you guys think about the new Indiana Jones. What direction would you like to see it go? Are you glad that Mutt's not coming back? Are you excited to watch the 5th Indy adventure in July of 2020, July 10th, 2020? Let me know in the comments below. Again, if you like this video and you want to hear more Indiana Jones talk, please give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, ciao for now.